Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and back to a brand new video. As you see from the title, this is going to be a different type of video because I'm going to be giving you guys an update on what has been happening in my life and why I have been so inconsistent when it comes to filming and uploading long form videos here on YouTube. Where have I been? What's been going on? Let's talk about it. So as many of you guys already know, if you follow me on other social media platforms or even here on YouTube and you watch my shorts, I have a Siberian Husky named Tyrion. My baby, I love him so much. I've put him in so many videos, I can't even count. And you guys always ask for him more than me, which is all good. So he definitely is a loving, very, very loving dog. He's my baby. I've had him since 2019 when he was just 3 months old, and I have been raising him ever since, and I absolutely love him so freaking much. And unfortunately, if you've been following me and my post, Tyrion got sick out of nowhere. Like literally, he's walking fine on a Monday, and on a Tuesday, he's limping. I'm like, why is he limping? And I'm thinking, he'll shake it off, he'll be fine. And a week and a half later, he's still limping, and it was just getting progressively worse. And I didn't know what to do. I was getting worried. I'm like, what is happening? Why is my dog limping? Is he injured? Like, what's going on? This is not normal behavior. And it got so bad to where normally I would walk Tyrion all the way down a couple of blocks to I call the pooping area, where he normally poops and pees, and he couldn't even make it to that short distance. Like I would try to walk him, he would just stop and pull me away and be like, no, like I'm not walking. I'm too uncomfortable. I can't do it. So I would have to carry him all the way to that area for him to do his business. And then eventually he would just pee in front of the house, like right in front of the house. He would just go in the grass, little patch area, and just pee there and poop, which is not normal because he never, if you have dogs, dogs normally like to poop and pee in a certain section or territory that's theirs. And he was in so much discomfort that he would just pee and poop in any grassy area that I would take him. So I knew something was up. So I took him to the vet back in June, and he was misdiagnosed. They told me that most likely it was just a soft tissue injury. He was running up and down the stairs possibly. Dogs sometimes hyperextend their joints. And she gave me pain meds and told me in a couple of weeks he should start getting better, because they did x-rays at the time and they couldn't find any joint issues, because I thought maybe he had an ACL injury or a joint issue with his hips. Like I was thinking about everything. And they told me from the x-rays that they could not see any signs of a joint or bone issue, but he did have inflammation. So let's give him some pain meds and just let him rest. It'll heal itself. So I'm like, okay. So I take him back home. The rest of the month of June, the rest of the month of July, no changes. Now I was trying to be patient. Maybe it just takes time. Nothing was happening. At that point in time, I did put him on some joint supplements. Like I did research. I'm like, let me find some supplements for him. I also spend $300+ on this thing, which is called Heliopet. And it's a red light therapy that you put on their joint, and it's supposed to help. It's really expensive, and it actually worked on me because I had twisted my ankle a couple of weeks ago, and I had did this therapy on my leg, and it helped, but it wasn't doing anything for Tyrion. So you guys know I was trying everything. I spent so much money trying to holistically heal him until I just couldn't do it anymore, and I had to go to the vets to get traditional medicine. He was still limping. In fact, it was getting worse. He wasn't progressing. He would just lay down all day. He could barely sit down. Like I would take him outside and he would go back to his bed, and he would have a hard time just sitting back down, because he didn't want to put any pressure on his legs, specifically his right knee. So I'm like, oh my God, my baby, what's going on? So I take him back to the vets in August, and I'm like, hey, I brought him here in June. You guys told me he would heal in about 3 to 4 weeks. It's 2 months later, and I'm seeing no progress. What's going on? I think he must have a joint issue. This has to be maybe arthritis. Something else is going on. So they take x-rays again, and the x-rays show nothing wrong, just inflammation. Now, he does have more inflammation than he had the last time, but they're not seeing any issues with his bones or his hips, because I thought maybe he has hip dysplasia. No signs of that. Normally, you can see signs of that at an early age with their bone structures. And there was no sign of that in his x-rays. His x-rays came back perfectly fine. So she's like, let's do a blood test on him, because maybe he got a tick bite. And maybe that tick bite is causing the inflammation and an infection in his body, which sometimes can be the cause of inflammation. It could be because of a tick bite or some type of infection. So we do a blood test run on him. Cost me $1,000. We did a blood test on him, and I had to wait a week to get the results, Waited a week. Thank God, negative for tick bites and negative for any infections. No abnormalities with his blood. Everything looked normal. So I'm like, okay, that's a good sign, but I'm still confused. So she said, let me take you to a specialist. Let me get you referred to a specialist that specializes in joints so they can do more tests on him and figure out what's going on, because thankfully he doesn't have, a tick bite, but we don't know what's causing the inflammation at this point. We don't know what's happening. So I make an appointment and I go to the doctor on Monday. Now before this, when it pours, it rains. So the Wednesday before my appointment, I'm going in my car to go check the mail, and I put my key in the ignition, and my car won't start. Literally, lights are blinking, and I'm hearing, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I just had my car fixed. I got a new accelerator like 3 months ago. I got new tires. I renovated my entire car, and I spent more like $3,000. So I'm like, it can't be my accelerator. What the hell is going on? This is crazy. So I'm freaking out. Thank God for my parents, because I frantically called my mom, like, I don't know what to do. What's going on? She's like, calm down. My biggest fear was I need to get Tyrion to the doctors on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and I only have a couple of days, and my car won't start. I don't care about my car. I could care less about my car. I care about Tyrion. I need to get Tyrion to the doctors. How am I going to do that with no car? So thankfully they have AAA, and I was able to make an appointment with AAA to get my car towed to my dealership to figure out what's happening. But that was going to be a hassle in itself, because I will have to take a day off of work, which I don't have any days left to take off from work. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Thank God my supervisor, I was talking to him on text, and he was like, it could be your battery. He's like, it could be you just need to change your battery. Why don't you have the AAA person come and check your battery first before towing it? So I called AAA back. I made an appointment to have a tech person come to my house the same day. Long story short, he comes to my house the same day, and it was my battery. Everything else was fine. So he switched my battery up. Cost me about $238 to get a new battery, which is worth it because I gotta drive, and that got fixed. So I'm like, oh, now I could take Tyrion to his appointment on Monday. That's all that I care about. It was just so much going on, So I get to the doctors on that Monday. Poor Tyrion couldn't even walk. It was devastating. I couldn't even get him anywhere. But we get to the doctors, and I will show you guys some clips of when I was there that day. Hey guys, so I'm at the doctor's office right now for Tyrion. As you can see, it looks like they just took Tyrion to go get his physical. So they're gonna see what the problem is. They may have to do some joint taps to find out why he has inflammation in his legs, and they're gonna see what they can do. This is my third visit. This is a joint specialist hospital though, so I'm happy to be here because they specialize in specifically joints for dogs. The other hospital that I was at was just a regular vet's hospital, and they weren't able to really help me much other than giving me medications just to put a band-aid on the problem. So I'm hoping this is going to be the fix that we need. I'm just praying because I've been a mess. And at that point in time, she's like, okay, well, we're going to come back and give you an estimate of how much money it could possibly be to do some lab tests for his joints. So they come back. I'm optimistic. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I got to spend $1,000, I can do that. That's kind of my cap, but we'll work with it. The high end of the estimate was $7,000. The low end was $5,000. Yeah, you heard right. I almost fell over my chair. I'm looking at this paper as she's talking to me, and I'm looking at the amount, and I'm just like, what? So I'm like, all right, I don't want to do the $7,000 one because I can't afford that. I'll do the low end of $5,000. So she's like, I can only take off maybe one thing, but everything else is absolutely needed for this test. So I call my pet insurance frantically, and I'm like, is there any way you guys can pay for this? What is the cap? So long story short, when I did my insurance when Tyrion was a puppy, I only did basic insurance, which I didn't know at the time I did because, I was new to this. I did basic insurance, which only covers $500 for the year. For any procedure. $500, that's it. So I'm like, well, can I switch over to a different type of plan that can cover him for something more expensive? She says yes, but there is a 365-day waiting period when you switch over for a pre-existing condition. So in other words, whatever's happening right now with Tyrion won't get covered until a year. So I'm screwed because they won't cover anything right now. So I'm like, oh my God. So the girl comes back in, and I'm like, hey, is there any way that we can do a payment plan? Do you guys have financing? So thankfully, they do have a finance card. I actually have it here with me right now. It is called Care Credit. Care Credit. And so I applied at the office, and I got approved in 5 minutes, of course, right? They want my money. So I got approved for a $5,000 loan. Took it out and immediately paid the bill. So now I'm in debt for $5,000. Yay. All right, guys, quick little update. So the bill, I don't know if you can see this, but actually the final bill is $4,600. $797. Yeah. So I end up leaving. They're doing the test on him. So I was there at 11 or 12 o'clock ish, and then they told me you can leave and come back around 4 o'clock because he won't be done until about 4 o'clock. So I was like, all right. So I left, came back, picked my baby up. All right, guys, I am back at the hospital picking up Tyrion now. It is around 4:30. So they finished the testing. Now they're just gonna in the waiting room now, just waiting for them to come to tell me how it went and what the plans are now. What they told me was he did well with the testing. They had to shave him in some areas to take out fluid. My baby. I know, puppy. And they put him on 3 meds. So a pain medication, antibiotic medication, and a steroid medication that usually helps with joints and with his issue. Gave me the instructions of when to give him the drugs. And they told me in 7 days, call back to give an update, and they'll give me an update on the lab results when the results come in. So I started Tyrion on his therapy medication, and I started seeing results within like 2 to 3 days. Like I started noticing he's standing up on his own. I don't have to pick him up anymore. He's walking on his own. He has more strength. He still had a limp, but it was not as progressive as it was prior, and he was able to actually walk around and move around more. I noticed it right away. I'm like, oh my God, these meds are working. Like, I was so relieved that they actually were working and doing something for him. Now, they were testing him for everything. They were testing him in this lab test for cancer, for any type of immuno diseases. So it was kind of like a broad spectrum of what it could be. So I was really scared, but just hoping and praying for the best. But seeing him get better with the medication that he was on, I was hopeful. Because I was like, if it's a really disastrous disease or something more serious, I don't think these meds will be working right now. So they are working, so that's a good sign. So originally I called to give them an update on what was happening with Tyrion. I spoke to the front desk person, and he took my information. And then he told me that they would have my lab results by the end of the day.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing Blue Pearl Tampa. Let me pull up your account.
Okay.
What's the phone number on the account? That was for Tyron?
Tyrion, yes.
Okay, great. They're probably going to be calling you later on today with lab results.
So hours pass. It's like 4 something in the afternoon, and I finally get the call. I get the call. Hello?
Hey, this is Dr. Jamie. Tyron's test results is now a good time?
Yes. Thank you so much for calling me back.
All of the cultures were negative. Looking at all of the cytologies, it came back with immune-mediated polyarthritis. Now, the treatment for that is partially what he's already on.
My baby, we finally have a diagnosis. That's all I wanted, a diagnosis. And now we can treat you, puppy. We can get you all better with medication. Immune-mediated polyarthritis. So she pretty much tells me that Tyrion is negative for any major diseases. Thank you, Jesus. But he is positive for, let me get the name of it because I always forget the name of this. It's a long name. Hold on. So his condition is called immune-mediated polyarthritis, also known as IMPA. And what it is an inflammatory disease that affects a dog or a cat's joints. It occurs when the immune system malfunctions and attacks the joints, causing pain, swelling, and difficulty walking, which is exactly what Tyrion was going through, like to the T. So this is Tyrion currently, and this is a miracle because I kid you not, just a couple of weeks ago, he wasn't able to do this, to walk to his normal spot to go pee and poop, and now he's able to walk me, which I'm just so thankful for. Like, it's progress, and this is just the beginning, but I'm so happy. As you can see, he's able to lay down again, and he's not struggling to, sit down on his hind legs. So the meds are working, and I will be starting him on the new medication very soon once I get that prescription all situated. So now what I'm going to do is I got the prescription for the new medication that he's going to be on, and the whole goal is to wean him off of the steroid medication, because if your dog is on steroids for too long, it starts to have effects on their body. The point is to get him off of the steroids, get him on the new medication, and hopefully wean him off of that new medication as he begins to get better and progresses and gets better. I did do a lot of testing on him. I asked a lot of questions. I did ask, could this be from an allergy to his food that I'm feeding him? Is that what's causing the inflammation? But according to my doctor, that is not the issue. Usually when a dog is having any issues with their food or having an effect, if the body has a negative effect on food, you will see a GI diagnosis first or symptoms first, like diarrhea, vomiting, trouble going to the bathroom, like things of that nature. And Tyrion has had none of those issues, ever. So he's like, most likely it's not the food, because you would see it manifest in his GI tract first before anything else, and he hasn't had that issue, so it's not the food. I know a lot of people are asking me, could it be the food? Check the food, his food. His food is fine. It's not the food. And I feed him very healthy food, by the way. I don't feed him kibble. I feed him human grade food with a lot of healthy benefits for dogs. And he's never had an allergic reaction to anything I've given him in the past. And according to the vets, this particular disorder comes out of nowhere. Like there's no reason why it comes, and it just happens in some dogs and cats. It just happens, which makes sense because, like I said, Tyrion was fine one day, and the very next day he wasn't. It made no sense. I'm like, what did I do? What's going on? So I feel better knowing that it wasn't me, that I didn't do something, potentially to him that caused this issue. But now I have a treatment plan. I see that it's working, and now we have movement, right? Now I know what to do, where to go, and hopefully he'll get better and better and better. And I'm just happy that my baby is slowly going back to his normal self again. But that is the update as to where I've been. This is why I have been MIA from filming. I just have not had the energy to film, because when your dog is sick, nothing else matters. I'm just keeping it real. And I didn't have the energy to really film. I really didn't. But with all of these medical bills, your boy's going to be filming because I need to pay these bills. Financially right now, I'm just getting slammed by so much coming at me at different directions. But it's okay. It's fine. I'm going to do what I got to do. I did get banned from TikTok for no reason. And that was a source of income for me. So that's dead. I'm glad to be off of it. And I'm going to put all my focus on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm filming YouTube videos, doing more political and social commentary. I also want to get into more true crime videos. I love true crime. So look out for that as well. I will give you guys more updates on Tyrion as the year progresses to let you guys know how he's doing. He's only 5 years old, by the way. He's not an old dog. So he's in my opinion, he's just a baby. He's a baby. But I will give you guys more updates as they come. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your prayers, for your concerns. I've seen all the comments. Every time I post any video, you guys always post, how's Tyrion? How's the pup? So I love you guys for that, for caring about him and for thinking about him and for just having a huge heart for my baby. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart to yours, thank you. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. Until next time, peace.